Okay guys, so this is game 4. Tank Wheels is up 2-1 after taking a quick win with his Grim Patron deck against Druid. That was a good example of why you see people say that Grim Patron is pretty much the best deck out there right now. It's considered overpowered, and for reasons like that. Sometimes you just see like a combo that it doesn't seem like it's fair. The opponent really has nothing they can do about it. So this is a really great opening hand for a Bnet player. I think you pass. Actually, no. This is correct. You coin Wild Growth because you want to innervate out the Azure Drake the next turn. Innervating out the Azure Drake gives you another card, and then you can play Piloted Shredder on the following turn, and your curve works out really nicely. So this is an excellent start for the Druid player. Bnet's got a great chance of evening this up since it's a handlock. If Tank Wheels was running Zoo, it would be considerably more difficult, but start against a handlock if you get a Wild Growth opening. He played the Shredder before he even drew his Force of Nature. Druid normally dominates this matchup because handlock likes to hang out around 15 life. And it turns out if you have around 15 life, you're around dead to combo. So a double combo Druid is usually going to do extremely well against a handlock. Alright, Bnet decides to trade both of his minions into that, which is fine. It is a 2-for-1 for Tank Wheels, but the Drake draws a card, so it's really only kind of like a 1-for-1. Alright, here I actually think you drop the Shade. I would drop the Shade if I was him, I think. Shade, Hero Power, trade in this stuff. The only problem with that play is it's really weak to Hellfire. So on second thought, maybe you just play the... Yeah, I still think you have to do it, even though it's weak to Hellfire. I'm not sure what other play you have. You can play your Keeper and do 2 damage to it. But you really want your Keeper for a Sylvanas or an Azure Drake. We can see Sylvanas is in hand, a golden Sylvanas, which she looks pretty legit. I don't know what's coming out of her hands, but that's a gold Sylvanas looks pretty cool. Tank has a lot of golden cards. Got the thunder in the background of Dr. Boom. Get smoke coming out of the big game hunter. Alright, so here's the Sylvanas. It's lucky for Bnet that there was no Hellfire. Instead there's a Shadow Flame, which, as you know, you need a creature to play that. If I was Tank, I think I actually would have played Ancient Watcher Shadow Flame just to clear out the Shade. But maybe the Sylvanas play is better, because he can still do the same play next turn, considering the Shade's only going to grow the 4 health. So the Sylvanas actually does make a lot of sense there. From Bnet perspective, you can trade all your stuff into Sylvanas, or you can silence it. But if you silence it and ignore it, it's still a 5-5. So it looks like he's going to trade everything into it and just play the Azure Drake. He really needs to get a big threat like a Dr. Boom or an Ancient of Lore. That would be really, really helpful for him. I think if he was within combo range, he would have used Wild Growth there. Because he has combo in his hand and he could play it next turn if he used Wild Growth. But that would only have been 20 damage. And it also kind of telecasts that he has it. So for those 2 reasons, it's probably a good idea that he didn't. So do you Wrath for 1 here on a Boombot, or Wrath for 2, just to see what you draw? It seems tempting. You're probably going to drop the Belcher. I think he might draw for a Big Game Hunter, but there are a lot of Big Game Hunter targets against a handlock, so maybe you don't do that. Interesting decision to run into a Boombot. I'm not sure how I like that. I think I probably would have just gone face to try to get him closer to the combo range. But it worked out since the Boombot only hit for 1. If it had hit for 3 or more and the Drake died, he'd be really sad with just a Sludge Belcher out here. Now, combo is a very real threat. From Tankwheel's perspective, what can you do about it? Well, you can trade in and then Ancient Watcher Shadow Flame, but that's not killing a whole lot, and you're paying a lot for it. You also have a Dark Bomb, so you probably trade in and just Dark Bomb the Drake. That leaves you 6 mana, but there's actually nothing really good to do with the 6 mana. It's kind of hard, he has so many cards to see what's going on from this perspective. Oh, well, there you go. So tapping into the Mountain Giant solves his problem. Now I can just trade in and play a Dark Bomb on the Azure Drake, and that's a really clean turn. He's almost dead the combo, but not quite. This is going to do 3 damage, adding to the 14 of combo. So he's 2 off lethal right now. If he was feeling like getting a board clear, he could combo and just clear the board. But probably doesn't want that. If he was feeling really YOLO, he could combo to the face, get him down to 2 life, and try to finish him off with a Keeper of the Grove next turn. But as we can see, there is a heal bot in his hand, and at this point, Handlock's drawn half of his cards. You have to assume that he has drawn it by now. So, drawing for 1 makes some sense. You know that you can clear off the Dr. Boom at least. Oh, so it takes 7 damage to the face to save the slime. He wants this body alive badly for combo next turn. So he's forcing Tankwheels to taunt up or to do something about it. However, he did draw a Sun Fury Protector. So I think if you're Tankwheels here, you drop your Ancient Watcher and you taunt up, or you can even heal bot and taunt up. This game is rapidly going towards Tankwheel's favor here. Oh, you have combo, but you can't quite combo Innervate Silence. So I guess you draw here. If you draw for the second Savage Roar, you may be able to win with a double combo. Or Thorson. Here I think you actually run into an Ancient Watcher if your damage is okay. 10. That's a little dicey actually. It might have been dead to like Dark Bomb and Hellfire. But I still think he's really in a lot of trouble here. He pretty much has to draw into Savage Roar. Nah, that still doesn't do it. It's tough to say what the Druid player can do here to win. From Tankwheel's perspective, you definitely have to clear the board. You don't want to leave Druid anything. Dropping Ragnaros would be really YOLO. I think what you do is you play the Sludge Belcher and the Healbot. The Sludge Belcher and the Healbot's super safe, and then you can run into Thorson with the Giant. Okay, this also makes a lot of sense. Shadow Flaming the Healbot. You get way out of combo range, and you can clear the board. So that's also a very strong line of play. I think he's going to draw cards here, even though he's close to dead. Well, next turn... No, it's not quite enough mana to play 2 sets of trees at Innervate Savage Roar. He's still 1 short of that. So I think he's still hoping for a Savage Roar draw to get off the Wombo combo. The problem with that is that it only does 22 damage. We can see he's got 24 life plus 10 taunt life. So one fell swoop is not really going to do it. I guess he's deliberating whether or not to run into an Ancient Watcher here. It does soften it up to 4 so that a tree can kill it, but I think that's too much damage. Alright, here we've got lethal. If Rag hits face. Otherwise it clears the board. So that's a pretty good turn. Oh, that's why you always tap first though, boys and girls. If he had tapped first, Hellfire does 3 damage plus Owl on an Ancient Watcher does 4 more for a guaranteed lethal. But Tank Will 6 the series 3-1. Congrats to him, he moves on to round 3, the round of 4.